the only people Hollywood couldn't control. For decades, Hollywood has loved celebrating itself. Every year, the biggest stars gather in designer suits, walk the red carpet, and applaud one another as trophies change hands. The speeches are polished, the cameras are carefully directed. Nearly everything is scripted, except for one thing: the comedian. Actors often dislike having comedians host award shows for one simple reason: comedians aren't there to protect anyone's image. They're there to find the truth hidden beneath the glamour, and the truth is usually funny. That's exactly why audiences love these moments. While celebrities hope for a flawless celebration, millions of viewers tune in hoping something unexpected happens: a sharp joke, an uncomfortable silence, a reaction no one can hide. Over the years, those moments have become far more memorable than many of the awards themselves. Some comedians questioned why these ceremonies even exist. Others embarrassed the biggest stars in the room. One joke led to one of the most shocking moments in live television history. And one comedian pushed Hollywood so hard that many people believe award shows have never been the same since. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person with a microphone to expose an entire industry. Award shows were always built on ego, long before Ricky Gervais became the face of award show controversy. Another comedy legend had already explained why so many comedians disliked these events. In 2007, while accepting HBO's Comedian Award, Jerry Seinfeld surprised the audience by questioning the very idea of giving comedians trophies. According to Jerry, comedians don't need awards because they aren't chasing approval. Their success is decided every night by a live audience willing to buy a ticket and laugh. Unlike actors, whose careers can benefit from prestigious accolades, comedians live or die by one simple question: are they actually funny? Then Jerry took the joke even further. He mocked Hollywood's obsession with treating actors like heroes, arguing that pretending to be someone else doesn't automatically make a person a genius. It was classic Seinfeld: dry, playful, but pointed. As an actor himself, he clearly understood how the industry worked. But his larger point wasn't really about acting, it was about the event itself. Jerry said that a comedian's job is to make fun of self-important, self-congratulatory ceremonies, which made standing on stage accepting an award feel strangely ironic. For many comedians, award shows represent exactly the kind of pretentious spectacle they're supposed to challenge, not celebrate. Jerry wasn't alone. Years before him, Don Rickles had built an entire career on saying the things no one else in the room would dare say. When receiving a TV Land award, Rickles barely pretended to take the honor seriously, joking about the award itself before moving on to everyone around him. It was hard to blame him. Hollywood seemed to have an endless list of ceremonies: the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, the BAFTAs, the Critics' Choice Awards, and many more. At times, it almost felt like the industry spent as much time celebrating itself as it did creating new work. Rickles understood something that audiences loved but celebrities often forgot: the more important an event tries to appear, the funnier it becomes when someone refuses to play along. Whether presenters were awkwardly reading jokes from teleprompters or legendary directors were being honored for lifetime achievements, Rickles treated everyone exactly the same. Julia Roberts, Martin Scorsese, Clint Eastwood, nobody was untouchable. And that's what made his comedy work. He wasn't attacking people because he hated them. He was reminding everyone that no matter how famous they were still human. As the years passed, more comedians adopted that same philosophy. The jokes became sharper, the reactions became more uncomfortable. And eventually, some of those jokes would create consequences that reached far beyond laughter, when the jokes stopped being harmless. As award shows grew bigger, so did the expectations placed on comedians. Audiences wanted fearless humor. Celebrities wanted a respectful celebration. Those two goals rarely existed in the same room. Some comedians found the perfect balance. At the 2013 Golden Globes, Amy Poehler delivered one of the night's most memorable jokes while introducing director Kathryn Bigelow. Referring to Bigelow's former marriage to James Cameron, Amy joked that when it came to torture, she trusted someone who had spent 3 years married to him. The room erupted in laughter. It was personal enough to surprise the audience, but clever enough to avoid crossing the line that became Amy's signature style. She and Tina Fey built an entire reputation on reminding Hollywood that no amount of fame made someone immune to being roasted. Matt Damon, George Clooney, and countless others all became targets, and audiences loved every second of it, but not every joke landed the same way. At the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards, Sarah Silverman made a joke involving Britney Spears and her children. Many people in the audience laughed. Today, the reaction would almost certainly be very different. As social media became more influential, every joke faced instant public judgment. Few comedians experienced that shift more clearly than Bill Burr. During the 2021 Grammy pre-show, Bill walked on stage after a classical piano performance and opened with an intentionally dark joke that immediately sparked criticism online. Then he joked about the event itself. He admitted he had bought an expensive suit because he thought he'd be appearing on the main Grammy broadcast, only to realize he was presenting awards during the pre-show instead. Next came perhaps the most awkward part of the night. Bill, a comedian with no background in Latin music, was assigned to present several Latin music awards. As he stumbled through the artists' names, the internet quickly erupted with criticism. To his fans, it was classic Bill Burr, awkward, self-aware, and completely unfiltered. To his critics, it was another example of comedy going too far. Around the same time, another comedian learned that old jokes could return years later. In 2018, Kevin Hart was announced as the host of the 2019 Academy Awards. Almost immediately, older tweets and stand-up routines containing jokes about gay people resurfaced online. Although Kevin had already apologized years earlier and had publicly addressed those jokes multiple times, the backlash continued. According to Kevin, he was given a choice: apologize again or step down as host. He chose to step away. Years later, he explained that award shows were no longer environments where comedians could simply be comedians. Every word would be examined. Every joke could become a headline. Then came the moment that changed everything. The 2022 Academy Awards. Chris Rock walked onto the stage to present Best Documentary Feature, opening with the kind of light celebrity jokes audiences had come to expect. Then he made a joke comparing Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved hairstyle to the character from G.I. Jane *. Will Smith initially appeared to laugh. Seconds later, he walked onto the stage and struck Chris Rock before returning to his seat and repeatedly demanding that Chris keep his wife's name out of his mouth. For a few moments, the entire theater fell silent. Viewers around the world struggled to believe what they had just seen. Chris Rock remained composed and continued presenting the award. Later that evening, Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor and delivered an emotional acceptance speech. The incident instantly became one of the most talked about moments in award show history. For many comedians, it represented something much larger than one confrontation. If a joke could lead to a moment like that on live television at Hollywood's biggest event, it raised a difficult question. Was hosting an award show still worth the risk? For many, the answer became increasingly clear, and no comedian understood that tension better than Ricky Gervais, because unlike everyone before him, he wasn't interested in making Hollywood slightly uncomfortable. He wanted to expose it. Ricky Gervais declared war on Hollywood by the time Ricky Gervais walked onto the Golden Globe stage in 2010. He had already built a reputation as one of Britain's boldest comedians. Nothing was off limits: politics, religion, fame, or the celebrities sitting just a few feet away from him. From the moment he began his opening monologue, it was obvious this wouldn't be a typical awards show. He joked that many people only knew The Office because of Steve Carell, before reminding everyone that he had created the original British version years earlier. It was a playful jab, but only the beginning. Ricky quickly turned his attention to the event itself. Rather than treating Hollywood as untouchable, he mocked the industry's tendency to glorify actors, sarcastically suggesting they were somehow more important than everyone else. The audience laughed, some a little more comfortably than others. He even promoted his own TV series during the broadcast while joking that NBC could use the ratings. It was a reminder that Ricky wasn't interested in following the usual rules, and the gamble paid off. The broadcast attracted higher ratings than the previous year, making NBC eager to bring him back. So in 2011, Ricky pushed even further. He mocked The Tourist starring Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie, questioning why it had received Golden Globe nominations despite its poor reputation among critics. Then he turned his attention to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the small group responsible for selecting Golden Globe nominees. Ricky joked that the organization wasn't simply rewarding great films. It was rewarding opportunities to spend time with celebrities. He even joked that accepting bribes wasn't the only reason The Tourist had been nominated. The audience laughed. The organizers, not nearly as much. He also continued his running jokes about Mel Gibson and Steve Carell, making it clear that no celebrity was permanently safe once they entered the room. By 2012, Ricky barely bothered pretending to respect the ceremony. He opened by calling the Golden Globes the Oscars just without the same prestige. Then, while introducing Johnny Depp, he casually asked whether Depp had ever watched The Tourist himself. Even Depp admitted he hadn't. The room laughed, but beneath the joke was a larger message. Even the people receiving awards sometimes didn't seem convinced those awards truly mattered. After 3 consecutive years, many assumed Ricky's time as host was over. Some members of the Hollywood Foreign Press openly criticized him, but television ratings told a different story. Millions of viewers tuned in precisely because nobody knew what Ricky might say next. That brought him back in 2016. This time, he looked less interested in entertaining Hollywood than confronting it. He joked about corruption inside the awards process. He told winners not to become emotional over what he described as a bit of metal. He joked that some studios cared more about winning trophies than making great films. He introduced Mel Gibson with another sharp reference to Gibson's past controversies. Each joke landed harder than the last. The room laughed, but the smiles were noticeably thinner. Then came 2020. Ricky announced it would be his 5th and final time hosting the Golden Globes. He opened by saying he no longer cared, then he proved it. He mocked NBC. He referenced Kevin Hart's Oscars controversy. He joked about Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and scandals that Hollywood would have preferred to avoid. He even accused the Hollywood Foreign Press of racism during one of his monologues. Then came the speech that spread across the internet. Ricky told the winners that if they accepted an award, they shouldn't use the stage to lecture the public about politics or morality. Instead, he said they should simply thank their agent, thank their family, accept the award, and leave. Whether people agreed with him or not, the speech became one of the most talked about moments in modern award show history. Some critics called it repetitive. Others called it lazy, but audiences embraced it. Because for many viewers, Ricky wasn't attacking movies. He wasn't attacking comedy, he was challenging the culture of celebrity itself. After 2020, award shows became noticeably safer. Hosts appeared more cautious. The jokes became softer. The unpredictability that once defined these ceremonies slowly disappeared. Many fans still debate exactly why. Some point to changing public expectations. Others point to the Will Smith incident. But regardless of the reason, one thing is difficult to ignore. For more than a decade, comedians were the only people willing to stand on Hollywood's biggest stage and make Hollywood laugh at itself. Sometimes the room laughed, sometimes it didn't. But those uncomfortable moments became far more memorable than many of the trophies handed out that same night. Conclusion: the real reason people remember these shows. Award shows are designed to celebrate success, the speeches, the applause, the standing ovations, the trophies. But history has a funny way of remembering something else. Ask people about the Golden Globes or the Oscars from the past 20 years, and many won't remember who won Best Actor or Best Picture. They'll remember Jerry Seinfeld questioning why comedians even need awards. They'll remember Don Rickles roasting Hollywood's biggest names without hesitation. They'll remember Bill Burr awkwardly stumbling through the Grammys pre-show. They'll remember Kevin Hart walking away from hosting the Oscars. They'll remember the moment Chris Rock was struck on live television. And above all, they'll remember Ricky Gervais standing in front of the most powerful people in entertainment and saying the things almost no one else would say. Whether you think those jokes were brilliant or went too far is ultimately a matter of opinion. Comedy has always lived in that uncomfortable space where different people draw different lines. But one thing is much harder to argue: the moments audiences continue sharing, replaying, and talking about years later are rarely the acceptance speeches. They're the moments when someone disrupted the script, when the room stopped feeling rehearsed, when celebrities looked genuinely surprised. Because for a brief moment, Hollywood stopped performing. It became real, and perhaps that's the greatest irony of all. The industry's most carefully planned nights are remembered not for their polished celebrations, but for the few unscripted moments that reminded everyone watching that even the biggest stars can be laughed at. Those moments didn't diminish Hollywood, they made it human. And that's exactly why audiences still come back to watch them years later.